Hey, this is Tommy at AldermanFarms. So you might can tell by looking at the background, I'm not at home. Nope, I had a business trip, and on my way to my location, I called my buddy Jared over at J&J Acres and said, "Hey, what are you doing this evening? You busy? If not, let's get on Skype and talk about something." We kind of later decided to talk about our goals and plans, loosely speaking, for 2017. And so we did that, had fun, nice conversation. Um, I can tell you this: I'm spoiled to the internet in my house, to my fiber internet at my house, because it's not quite as fast here in the hotel. And so there's a few technical glitches with the Skype recording, but I hope you can overlook that and just enjoy two friends chatting on Skype about what's happening in the coming year. Here's that video right after this. So, Jared, tell me what you're looking forward to in 2017 on at J&J Acres, meaning both at the homestead itself and also for your YouTube channel and other social media, blog, whatever. What you thinking about in the coming year?
Oh, Tommy, just like everybody else, I got about 5 million projects need to be done by next Saturday. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Well, obviously it's that time of year where that's, a topic that tends to come up. What are your goals for the next calendar year? And, there is certainly something to be said for goal setting. There's positive things about goal setting. Um, I have personally let myself down before, and I'm sure many other people have as well, where you say you're going to get maybe it's a certain project done, or maybe you say to yourself, like having a YouTube channel, I want to double my numbers or some kind of metric like that, and you don't meet it, and you start questioning yourself, what am I doing wrong? What could have I done better? And so many other things. And really, my motto for 2017 is just keep swimming. I'm just going to
yeah.
follow Dory's advice because, I think there's also something to be said for organic growth and letting that business grow slowly, letting that audience
Yeah.
grow slowly, and let it come in over time. So as far as the YouTube channel is concerned, the website, podcast, all that kind of good stuff, I don't care. If I end the year with double numbers, if I end the year with 5 more subscribers, I'll be fine. And I'm not going to stress myself out over that. Now, as far as the property is concerned, I got a lot of goals, a lot of things I'd like to get done. Mainly, the one project we've already started showing everybody is the greenhouse. I've got those old windows that I want to repurpose into a greenhouse, and I want to get that going. But there's also some more practical things that need to get done too. My driveway is shot. After having almost 6 months of totally dry weather, we had a very rainy winter, and my driveway is just shot. And I need to regrade that, get some more rock down. They put rock down when we first bought this place back in 2009. And it hasn't been treated again since. And so that was virgin ground that they had bulldozed a driveway for, laid down some rock, and it's never received anything more since. So it needs to get regraded. Some larger rocks need to get put down for a base, and some smaller rocks for an actual driving surface, and that's kind of a more practical thing. And of course, like I said at the beginning, there's about 5 million other little projects I'd like to get some time on as well.
Yeah, speaking of driveways, ours hadn't been treated since 2000. Um,
Mm,
Actually, it might have been, was it 1999? I don't know. We moved to the place in 2000. I think it August of 2000. So yeah, the driveway was probably done in 2000, and it hasn't been professionally treated since then. And it's a gravel driveway, and
yep.
there's been a few times where I've tried to patch. I've dumped some rocks in a hole, kind of thing.
Hmm.
But there are 2 holes. I mean, my driveway. I wish I had a picture of it to put on the screen right now because there's tracks that go around the holes.
Hmm.
I've got a couple of mammoth holes that they'd be great wallows for the pigs. And so I doubt we do anything professionally, other than maybe I may, maybe buy a load of red clay to put down, and then get some more rocks on top of it. And it's held up amazingly well, considering it's been there, going on 17 years. And the holes, it's kind of funny. The holes seem to happen in the same spot, So
Hmm.
we've been really blessed with it. But we do that's something that's actually also on our list.
Yeah.
So before I talk about our plans, homestead wise and YouTube wise, let me go back and reframe my question about your YouTube channel. Thinking
Okay.
about content, do you have any? Have you had any thoughts about, where your direction is going content wise? Any specific ideas? And you may not. And folks, I'm putting him on the spot here. We didn't really. I told Jared, hey, let's do a Skype call and talk about goals, but I didn't give him any specific questions in advance. So forgive me if I if I put you on the spot too bad. But I meant
Yeah.
content wise, do you have any series in mind, or things like that?
Well, no. Uh,
I'll
uh,
edit that out.
no, that's fine. There's a lot of strategies out there for YouTube on how to increase engagement and things like that, and make people feel like they're more of the channel, and get people who've never been at your channel before feel like they're a part of it, so they stick around and be something more. But and I'm sure, for the amount of study that's been done on those things, that there's value behind that. But what I have found personally is, when I worry about those little intricacies, I stress out over it. So I'm sticking with what we've always done, which is, hey, it's Saturday. I'm going to go work on this. Let me grab my
Yeah.
camera while I work on it. And late that night, when I'm sitting in the recliner and resting from my day's work, I'll edit it and put it on YouTube. So, I did try a bit of an experiment with this raised bed that we recently built, in taking it and doing it in several segments, rather than, because I would normally take a video like that, even though it took me all day to shoot it. I would take a video like that and trim it down to just 5-10 minutes and post it on YouTube and be done
Yeah.
with it. But I
Yeah.
thought, well, this has got pretty set aside steps. And so let me make a video for each step that's just 2 or 3 minutes, and see how this goes. And what I've actually found is that, for me personally, for my very first time trying to do this, I'm losing engagement on that series. So
Really.
my hope was, if I made a playlist of about 10 videos of this entire process, that I would get, for one person, I'd get 10 video views. And that's not the way it seems to really be going on. The first video has a whole lot of views, but now that we're down into like the fifth video, it's not getting viewed as much. Now, you and I both know, Tommy, that immediate reaction doesn't mean that 2 years from now something
Right.
doesn't change. And if that entire series becomes a thing that people want to watch, well, then all of a sudden, having that series built up like that becomes a value. So I'm experimenting with it, but I hadn't really settled in on it. I think majorly I'm still going to just say, hey, this is what I did today, and somebody's going to post a question saying, hey, Jared, what about those bats? And I'm going to go shoot an update about the bats and show that video next.
I think probably for the niche that we are in, and I can't decide whether I'm supposed to say niche or niche, but
I guess,
whichever.
what side of the Atlantic you live on.
Yeah, maybe so. But I think for our audience, I think that's probably a solid strategy. From what I find from just interacting with, that I'm big on interacting with the community, and I think what I gather from our community is that they're interested in what we do, and so with that in mind, I think some of the people who are interested in what we do are looking for ideas so that they can do it as well. I think we also have some people living vicariously through us to some degree, who don't have access to property and things of that nature. And so I like that idea, but it may not apply to the tech sector. If we were doing hardware reviews and things like that, maybe we would need to pay more attention to some of what the gurus have to say. But I think you're onto something. Obviously, your channel numbers would bear that out. That you're onto something. You just film what you do. My approach for 2017, and really the approach that we've had almost from the beginning, is to film things and present things that we find interesting and that we think other people might find interesting. Well, I don't know about that part, because we say all the time that we just can't believe anybody gives a rip about what we do or what we say,
Mm-hmm.
So let me retract that portion, Your Honor, and say, we film things that we're interested in and passionate about, and it's all about the content. It's not even about the polished presentation as much as it is honest communication and the passion for a topic. I say that by way of setting up what I'm about to say, is that, one of the things I'm interested in is because of some YouTube training, some of the guys that I follow talk about one of the buzzwords. Niche is a buzzword in the YouTube creators community. And more recently, sort of a buzz topic is niching down, meaning refining a niche, and that there are far too many YouTube creators that try to cast a wide net and try to appeal to everybody. And when you try to appeal to everybody, you connect with nobody. And so you've heard me mention, I think, as a result of my adventure with my dog. My adventure is a nice word for it. It was an adventure. My traumatic event, that drawing on my law enforcement training in critical incident stress management, that it occurred to me that most of what you would find out there on the internet dealing with critical incident stress is targeted toward the public safety community or the military, because typically that's where the conversation is confined. But the truth of the matter is, bus drivers can suffer from critical incident stress. School teachers, in any walk of life, people are subject on any given day to run headlong into a critical incident, meaning some traumatic event that has the potential to be life-altering. And the principles that I learned in my critical incident stress debriefing training can be universally applied. And so we all know, if you give any thought whatsoever, my example excluded even, that on a homestead there are tremendous opportunities for trauma. Tractors rolling over, chainsaw accidents. I mean, you name it, predator confrontations and things like that. And so, I see it as an opportunity, and I'm actively working on developing a series that I'll turn into a playlist of critical incident stress management. There goes, now Siri heard me say something that thought I was talking to her, but be quiet over there. Down girl, actually down boy. I've got a male voice. I think it's kind of creepy to be talking to a woman that's not my wife. So I got a Australian male voice for Siri on my phone.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I completely forgot what I was saying. What was the last thing I said before Siri interrupted me?
Yeah, I got distracted myself.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well,
I don't know the last thing I know you're talking about your critical incident training, but
yeah, okay. Here's an edit point.
There you go.
Dang. So from my perspective, developing a series that I'll turn into a playlist dealing with critical incident stress that can occur on a homestead. Sort of generalizing the principles that I learned in law enforcement is accomplishes two things. Number one, it gives me an avenue to express something that I'm passionate about. This is not something that I do have to go do some research to make sure I'm up to date on the best practices and the latest practices, but this is not something I have to learn from scratch because I think it's something I can do well on YouTube. This is something that's burned into me. Critical incident stress management is something that's part of me. And so it gives me an avenue to express something that I'm passionate about, that I know will help people, will serve my audience. And at the same time, it provides me an opportunity to niche down. In other words, to address a niche within a niche, if that makes sense. And the more I say niche, I feel like I'm some hoity-toity person, but niche. To niche down or niche down, to find a niche within a niche. And so I'm curious to see, number one, I'm excited about the potential to reach out and help people. But secondarily, I'm excited to see how it's received. I'm excited to see what that series does, how statistic-wise, sort of as a way of fleshing out what the experts are saying about the smaller the niche, focus is power kind of thing, that the more you can target your audience, the better the videos will perform. Well, we're going to find out. And that's assuming that they're worth a hoot, but I think they will be. Production-wise, I don't know. Content is going to be good because I know it's good stuff. I'm not saying that's not a reflection on my confidence in myself as a presenter. It's a reflection of my confidence in the material, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, looking forward to that. But
well, I got two thoughts I'd like to share about that. First, it's always the challenge as well. Like I was talking about with my little series with the raised bed garden. When you niche down or niche down or whatever it is, you're almost in a very small way, and just follow me for the sake of the train of thought here, restarting your YouTube channel. And you're trying to gain traction and authority in a new subject matter. And so, you won't be able, probably, I would predict, you won't see the results instantaneously. You would have to produce that content for a period of time and realize, hey, more people are watching this than just me showing an update on how the pigs are or something to that effect. And so I think that's a long-term project, and it sounds like that's probably the way you're gearing things up anyway. And my second thought that came to mind is, isn't there some sort of adage for authors about writing what you know, or something to that effect? And, in a way, I've always felt like I was sort of doing my own little reality TV, because I'm trying something for the first time. I'm not the subject matter expert trying to show everybody how to do it. I'm just showing you what I am doing. But in stepping into something like what you're talking about with the critical incident stress management, that's something that you can shoot from the hip and just speak on it. And so the content will flow more easily, and that not only is going to be good content, but as you were saying as well, it might help the production and the presentation as well.
Yeah, I think that's valid. And to your first point, you actually got inside my head and realized something that I didn't say. But you're exactly right. It's not, my goals for this series is that it would, number one, be ongoing. I've already thought about, persons who are mentors of mine in the field. That I would like to pull in for. They don't have YouTube. They're active in critical incident stress debriefing, but they are complete and utter experts in the field. But I've got access to them, and I plan to do interviews, video interviews of them with them. And you hit the nail on the head. I don't look at this as an opportunity to skyrocket my YouTube channel at the launch of the first few videos. I fully believe that, and I've done a little bit of research, but not too much. And I hope that my viewers know me well enough by now to understand what I'm about to say and don't take it the wrong way. But I really believe there's an opportunity to become an expert in the discipline on YouTube as far as that is concerned, because there's an opening there. I've done a little bit of YouTube research, and when I searched around topics of critical incident stress, there are some videos, but I didn't see any newer than like 2 years, and some of them were 3 years old, and I didn't find any that were dealing with anything other than either public safety or military. So yeah, it's a long-term project, and channel-wise, the goals are also long-term. And that's not to say, and you're right in a sense about anytime you start to do something like that, it's almost like a relaunch. That's right, because well, that's right in one way. In one way, though,
Yeah.
I want you to understand, and my viewers to understand, suddenly Alderman Farms is not going to change and become all about that. We're going to still do the Instant Pot videos, and Patty's going to bake bread, and we're going to deal with pigs and all of that. This will just be one facet of what we do, a new facet of what we do added to the rest. So as far as our homestead is concerned at Alderman Farms, the biggest plan we have is, and we talked about this, I think, in maybe our most recent live show on the Homestead Network, is moving into a permanent bed situation. We're going to add more boxes to our, where our box gardens are, right?
I do.
We're going to expand that area, not the area. We're going to add some more box beds in there, but even out in what we call the big garden, we're looking to do some more permanent bed situation, not boxes, but just building the soil and having reducing the till situation for us. So we're looking forward to that, and then we're going to out. Have you been? I don't know if you've seen what we call the big garden since we fenced it in. Have you? I don't think so.
I don't. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. Well,
Okay.
we've got about, I don't know, it's probably a quarter of an acre fenced in, maybe a little more. And what we're going to do is run an additional. It's longer than it is wide, and we're going to come from the. We're going to come in about 25 feet or so from the northern fence and run another fence line long ways. And so that the area between those fences is going to become our orchard. We don't have an orchard, and we really want to incorporate some fruit into our production. And so Patty has ordered some blueberries, and I'm drawing a blank. She has ordered some fruiting plants, and so sometime in the very near future. In fact, we were talking about that on my drive today. That it'd be nice if we had that fence in place prior to the plant's arrival, so we can put them straight in the ground when they get here. But the good news is, if that doesn't happen, if the plants come in before we get the fence done, at least we have that electrified poultry netting that we could put up in the meantime to protect the plants. And we know that it works. Maybe not for pigs. Be quiet. Don't start with that.
I was going to say, by the way, you have to come up here and get some from me. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah. I got plenty. Gosh, I've got probably 2 or 3 sections that we're not using right now. And So, that's probably the main thing that we've got planned that's new. Although we have to, Patty was just telling me, and we've almost missed the window because of our crazy weather. But our giant fig tree, I know you're familiar with our giant fig tree.
I may have seen that before in a picture somewhere.
Yeah, in a picture somewhere. I'll have to find that and put it in here. Here it is. Here it is, right here. But we need to trim it back, and you need to do that before it buds. And with our crazy weather, I don't know what it's been in Meridian, but it's been in the mid 70s the last few days in Brookhaven. Patty
Yep.
can tell it looks like it's trying to bud already.
Mm,
And I mean, it's nuts. When was it? Last weekend we had temperatures in the teens,
yeah.
and this week we've got green grass growing, and the fig tree's trying to bud out. I mean,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
The most I've noticed up here, of course, we have had a little bit more freezing here than you have down there. Not much, but enough to change how plants react to the current weather. And I was noticing we're having some ryegrass pop up, and I've noticed some of the Bermuda grass is starting to come through. But the forsythia, normally that's the first plant I notice around here, are the daffodils coming through, and the forsythia bush, those bright yellow bell flowers most people are used to seeing. It's like the first thing that flowers usually around town
Okay.
because it's used a lot in
All
landscaping.
right.
But my forsythia is starting to the leaf buds are starting to swell up, and the daffodils are starting to push up. I've started to see several daffodils that I planted last year are now starting to come up out of the ground. So and really, it scares the bejesus out of me because it's way too early. The rule of thumb around here, Tommy, is when do you start planting? I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Good Friday.
There's a That's right. You plant it Good Friday. That because you're just destined to have that last final freeze right before the Easter holiday, right before Good Friday. And now I'm just, we've been up in these 70s. We're having like 60s at night and things like that. And I'm just worried we're going to tank, and all this stuff that started to grow is going to get a deep freeze and just, it'll be horrible. But
Yeah. It's 53 according to my watch. 51. I'm sorry. 51 degrees right now in South Haven, where I sit.
wow.
So I don't know. I haven't looked at the weather. I don't know what if this is heading south or I came through some rain and the temperature dropped within about 10 miles. It seemed like from the 70s down into the 50s, and
Hmm.
so I don't know. I don't know what the. I thought and I know I'll get some comments on this, remarks about this in the comments, but I thought the Farmer's Almanac had predicted like a bitter winter for us. So
Well, I don't know personally because I don't believe you can forecast that far in
no, no,
advance.
no.
So I
I
know
don't
some.
have it. I don't. We don't have a
Yeah.
Farmer's Almanac. I just seemed like I remember reading that
Well,
somewhere. Uh,
well, some people put a lot of faith in the Farmer's Almanac, and I don't know what its historical accuracy rate has
I don't
been. And
either.
a lot of people put faith in persimmon seeds, and I
Yeah,
mean, all I
yeah.
know is you swallow them. That's all I know about persimmon seeds.
You know what? I think, come to think of it, if I remember correctly, just for fun, I think it was this year that we split some persimmon seeds, wasn't it? Because didn't I think you
I
commented
think you
on it?
did. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and it
think
was,
it was this.
and they were spoons, right? I mean, didn't I think the persimmon seeds predicted a
Right.
hard winter
Snowy way.
too?
But
Which
hey,
I mean,
winter
it's
ain't
only
over.
it's only the middle of January, so
That's right.
I mean, we've still got who knows? I mean, a week from now it could be back 15 degrees. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know, but it is crazy though to see, as you mentioned, things blooming out in January that you wouldn't expect to see blooming out for 2 more months at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it sure does. It throws a wrench in your planning mechanism for sure.
And the only thing there's something inside you that says, oh, it's warm, I got to try to grow something.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take
Yeah.
advantage of it. It's like you've been given this window of opportunity to produce something. But I mean, unless you're going to make a small enough planting that you're going to be able to put a row cover over it, or you're going to be able to throw a blanket over it or a sheet over it or something to protect it when that hard freeze snap comes. I mean, I for one am in the favor of just keep working on your plans, keep doing your research, and when you would normally plant, go for it then.
Yeah. I don't think, and that's certainly the approach we're taking. We're not gonna. I mean, seeds are too precious to go on a whim. To hey, it's January, the middle of January, it's 70 degrees. Let's go row up 500-foot rows. And now we're not going to do that either. We're just gonna. I may be mowing grass next week, but I won't be planting.
Exactly. I hear that.
Well, what else you got on your mind? Anything else you want to share with the viewers before we wrap it up?
Well, while we were talking, which I don't mean to give away when this was recorded, but I just had a video. I'll just leave it at that. I've had a video go live. So make sure you go check out my YouTube channel.
All right.
But outside of that, man, I mean, there's so many things. Right now, I'll share a short story because sometimes I think on YouTube, of course, I personally, at least, want to put my best foot forward, and I do make the effort to share the fails and the struggles, which I've had a lot of people appreciate over the years. But here currently, I mean, this is the kind of thing we ran into. All right. So about 2 years ago, I purchased a used vehicle. It's a 2002 Ford Expedition. Okay. Got a really good deal on it. I know the guy I bought it from. I trust him implicitly. And I know I got a good vehicle when I bought it. Drove that all the way to South Carolina and back. About 6 months later, I drove it to Northern Virginia. And on the way home, it tanked. We ended up, I believe, and I am no mechanic, not in any iota, just not. But I believe the terminology that's used is it threw a rod.
Yeah.
Initially, basically what that means is the engine was toast. So it sat around for a while. We were able to procure a used engine to replace it with. Got the engine replaced, and it started running again. We started having what are generally considered to be normal problems where we had to replace the ignition coil packs and things like that, but it was running. So the next thing we wanted to do is buy a trailer. Didn't have a trailer on the property at all. And we wanted to be able to haul rocks to fix the driveway like we were talking about earlier and all those kind of things, because the only rock company around here charges $50 per load to come out to do it. So even if you spend $300 on material, they're still going to pop you $50 just for the delivery fee. And Jared ain't about that. So I was willing to do smaller loads over time on my own. Well, so car's running, we save up our pennies, and we buy a trailer. Now, as it happens, Jennifer's minivan has a hitch on it, so we can tow the trailer empty and with very little material in it, but it's certainly not going to haul a full bed of sand or a full bed of rock or anything like that. So we still needed the bigger vehicle for that kind of weight capacity. But anyway, Jennifer meets me in town to sign the paperwork for it and everything, and so we ended up towing it home with her vehicle. And we get home and we set it up, and I go to get the Expedition and hook it up, and it will not start. Oh. It just won't. And so I've had one buddy come and look at it in person. We thought maybe it was just because it sat for a few months that the fuel went bad, and we tried changing out the fuel filter. That did not fix it. I've had another buddy that actually works at a Ford dealer in the shop area try to help me diagnose it over the phone, and because of a couple things, he thinks it could be the fuel pump. But anyway, really the moral of the story is just to share with you, we run through the same problems every other human being runs into.
Yeah.
We think we think we're running down this path where things are coming together. We got a used vehicle. We spent as little money as we had to get the towing capacity we were looking for. We saved up our pennies. We bought a trailer, and now that vehicle that we had specifically for that trailer won't run. And so now we're having to put more money into the used vehicle. And man, I tell you, you just run yourself ragged in circles sometimes, just chasing your own tail, trying to get things done.
Yeah, but like you mentioned that people appreciate sharing the fails and things like that. And I mean, the tagline for our channel is where life on the farm just got real. And like you, we've had, I don't know how many people tell us in the comments and sending messages that they appreciate, that they sense that we're real folks, and they appreciate that. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for real people that they feel like they can connect with, and I learned a long time ago that if you just tell the truth, you don't have to remember what story you told yesterday,
That's
and
right.
and if you
Amen.
just be yourself, then you don't have to remember how you acted yesterday, and
That's right.
just kind of what you see is what you get. It might be the lazy man's approach, but it's it's what's real, and
Yeah.
I remember, I'm glad to know you got a trailer, because I seem to remember you had to get a guy come from Brookhaven one time to pick up some fence panels for you.
Yeah. Isn't that ridiculous? From like 2 hours away just to drive 20 minutes into town. I mean, what kind of a friend does it take to do that? I mean,
Oh, it was fun. I had a great time doing it, but yeah.
hey Tommy, I've got a trailer, but I really need somebody with a truck. Could you come back up here?
Yeah, well, it'd be kind of out of my way going back home, but let me know. I don't know. But anyway, I tell you what, Jared, I appreciate your time. I consider you not only a colleague, but a friend. And I'm going to
Thank you.
put your information in the description of this video, so people who, most of the people who watch our channel also watch your channel. And but in the event that they don't know who you are, I'll put the information for J&J Acres in the description of this video. And I can only get so much of it before the fold. So if you're watching this video, please go down and click the See More area, so that the description will expand, and you can see all the ways that you can find what J&J Acres has going on the internet. He is like us. What you see is what you get. He and Jennifer and their family are just real people struggling to make a way, struggling to become, to chase what am I trying to think of? What's the word I'm looking for? That mythical concept of sustainability. And I say that because sometimes it seems mythical, doesn't it, Jared?
It does. It does.
Because you constantly run into little roadblocks blocks to sustainability, but the journey is exciting and fun. So anyway, can't thank you enough, Jared. Appreciate you taking out time to just chat, and we'll do it again sometime.
Thank you for having me on, sir. It's good to talk with you, and I hope the rest of your trip goes safely.
Well, we may not have accomplished very much, but we sure did have fun doing it. I always enjoy chatting with Jared, who, as I said in the video, I consider him a friend, not just an associate or a colleague or an internet friend, a real friend. And if you're not familiar with J&J Acres and the work that Jared and Jennifer do there, as I mentioned to Jared, look down in the description of this video and you'll find the link to his YouTube channel, his blog, his Facebook page. And I would appreciate it if you'd go over and tell them hi and check out their content. They really do a great job. Jared's channel is it's a little more than twice the size of ours. He's really got it going on and does a great job, good production quality and all of that. And so he's also a member of the Homestead Network, just like we are. And so we appreciate you as well, taking your time to watch our videos, to subscribe to our channel, to like our videos. And we just can't get over it that you would take the time to do that. So thank you very much. We look forward to talking with you again very soon. Thanks. Yeah, okay, here's an edit point. Dang. Let me think just a minute. I know I was talking about the critical incident stress. That's horrible. Stupid phone.